Let's go to the Daily Mail now. Another figurehead who's being rather outspoken about global issues. This time, it's that Argentinian fella, not Javier Milei. It's the other one.
Yes, Pope Francis, and he blasts the weapon. He gives a speech too, like Prince Charles. He blasts the weapons industry as instruments of death, and he gave a speech as his Christmas blessing, his Christmas to Christians, and he said some very interesting things, which he called for the release of hostages, which was very nice. But he said Israel's military campaign in Gaza and as an appalling harvest of innocent civilians.
We should say, for balance, he did also point out that the attack by Hamas on October the 7th was abominable, right? So he was being condemnatory of that. But it shouldn't really be surprising to us that the leader of the Catholic faith calls for peace. Peace is an essential aspect of Christian belief.
I would hate to say that not only is he calling for peace, but I think this is anti-Semitic. This is an anti-Semitic.
How?
Yeah.
How?
An appalling harvest of innocent civilians, like Jews are killing people.
No, I don't think that's what he meant. It is appalling that civilians are dying. He's not saying that the IDF or Israel is behaving appallingly. He's saying it is appalling. It's always a tragedy when civilians are. In fact, it's a tragedy when anyone.
Harvest. I'm not saying anything bad about the Pope.
Paul, I mean, is it possible that the translation...
Well, I think I didn't read any of that. I read this whole story. I didn't read any of that into it. But I'm not Jewish. One thing I did read into it is his blasting of the weapons industry for creating instruments of death. And having a go at the weapons industry for creating weapons is a bit like having a go at the Pope for celebrating Christmas. That's what they're there for. And
actually, ultimately, it is people who pull the triggers, and it is people who put the bombs.
Absolutely. And I think if we've learned anything as a human race, that just words and religion alone has never been enough. As much as we'd all love it to be, it's never been enough as a deterrent.
It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, often people say they don't want the Pope or religious figures getting involved in geopolitics, but ultimately, this is a matter of war. This is something that the Church should be commenting on. And, you know, it's not going to solve the crisis, but at least we know where we stand.
I guess if he come out and said loving the work of the weapons industry, then it would be weird.
That would be weird.